Hello friends, and welcome back to the Classroom Corner. Can you believe it's been a week already? I hope you had a great week. Hope you had an amazing week. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be in the corner. It's raining outside right now, so it's really dreary outside. So it's nice to be in this nice cozy classroom corner here. So I'm really happy about that. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Oh, well, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself before we can jump into this week's lesson. We have got to look back at last week's lesson. Now we can go ahead and use the little heart here to help, but let's go ahead and think in our brains, what was the story from last week? If you had to take any guesses, remember it has something to do with this heart here, that's gold, and it says do unto others, and then I'll give you a final hint, had something to do with a rule. What could it be? Yes, it was the golden rule. We talked about the golden rule. What is the golden rule? Hopefully I heard do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or as you would want them to do to you, or treat you. Treat others how you would want to be treated. It's been worded so many different ways, but it all means the same thing. So we talked about that. We talked about how we treat others and how we treat others the way that we want to be treated back. And we had a great conversation about it, and it was pretty awesome. So, we are going to talk about, I'm getting all over the place. This week's lesson, we are going to talk about something called a parable. And we're going to learn a little bit about what a parable is, and we're going to have some props. We're going to have a story, and we're also going to have a song, which I'm super excited about. So, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. You guys probably know this one. Nope, that's not the paper I'm looking for. Where's the paper I'm looking for? Alright, we are looking at this. Alright, before we go into the story, I have two things here. I have a rock right here. It's pretty solid for a rock, I would say. It's a pretty hard rock. And I'm going to go ahead and take this out. I have, having some difficulties here getting this out. There we go. And then here I have kinetic sand. I love this stuff. But I have sand. Now, is this kinetic sand? Is that as firm as a rock? Gosh, it's gonna go everywhere. Is this as firm as the rock here? We got a firm rock, and then we have sand. I mean, it's not super hard like the rock at all. So we're actually gonna be using these two things to help explain our story. So I'll put the sand and the rock down, and we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. So Jesus often used parables when he taught. So take a guess in your brain. Take a guess in your brains. Think about maybe what might a parable be, or do you know what a parable is? If so, that's awesome. You're one step ahead. Look at you go. But if you don't, that's okay too. Go ahead and take a guess. What might a parable be? All right. So keep that answer in mind while we read the explanation. So parables are stories that teach a lesson. So example, not of a parable specifically, but like some nursery rhymes or like some folktale stories, like we'll say, like Little Red Hen. I don't know do people read that story anymore? Do you guys know what that is? I hope so. So that teaches lessons and a whole bunch of other things. So parables were stories that Jesus told, or some of his disciples as well, that taught a very valuable lesson. So we're going to learn about a parable today, which I'm super excited about. Parables are super cool, and we're actually going to be talking more about all sorts of parables, which is going to be pretty cool. Alright, so one time, Jesus told a parable about the two builders. So he told a story that taught a lesson. So he told a parable. And so it's about two builders. So we have builder 1 and we have builder 2 here. So, yes, there were two builders. Now these two builders were not the same. There was a wise builder and there was a foolish builder. So, one day the builders decided to build houses. So two builders are building houses. Each builder searched for the perfect spot to build. And the wise builder found a piece of land on rock and began to build. Oh, hold on, give me just 1 second. All right, we're back and ready to roll. So the wise builder found a piece of land on rock and began to build. The foolish builder found a nice level area of sand and began to build. So you have two builders here. One is deciding to build the house on a rock, and one is deciding to build a house on the sand. So, thinking your brains, what might the biggest difference be between those two locations? So both builders worked very hard to complete their houses. And when they were finished building, the builders moved into their houses. So they go, and we have builder one over here he's building his house on a rock, and he goes and lives in it. And then we have builder number 2 here, putting his house on the sand. And, okay, so they moved into their homes. So everything's going good. The one builder on sand, he's like, you know what, I'm enjoying my life, it's a nice house. And the builder on rock, he's like, you know what, I'm enjoying my life, it's a nice house. So they're both thinking the same thing. But then after a while, it began to rain. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and wind blew and beat against the houses. So you're talking, like, this was not just like a little sprinkle, like it's like sprinkling outside right now, actually. So this wasn't just like a little sprinkle, this was a flood. This was rain coming down, and it's flooding, and there's wind, and it's a storm. It is most definitely a storm. So it beat against the houses. So how do you think the houses are doing? How do you take a guess? How do you think the one on rock is doing? How do you think the one on sand is doing? So the house built upon rock stood tall and in the rain, and it didn't fall. Now, why do you think that would be? That the rock one isn't moving. Not isn't moving, but isn't destroyed in some way. Why do you think? Because it's a rock. This thing, it is most definitely a rock. It is not going anywhere. So we know that the house on the rock is good, but how do you think the rock on sand is doing right now? Let's see. So but the house on the sand fell and was completely destroyed. So look at this. All the sand's falling apart and everything. And can you imagine, there's no house on here, but can you imagine what the house is doing right now? It's the house is gone. The house that builder number 2 took so long to build now is destroyed. There's like a dang it, you guys can't see that, but there's a just pile of sand. It's in ruins. It's in absolute ruins. All right. So Jesus said, "People who hear my teaching and follow them, like they are a wise builder who built his house on a firm foundation. But people who hear my teachings and ignore them are like the foolish builder who built his house on the sand." So, let's go ahead and let's read that again. So, people who hear my teaching and follow them are like the wise builder who built his house on a firm foundation. So he said that. But we're going to look at the one about sand first. But people who hear my teachings and ignore them are like the foolish builder who put his house on the sand. So, lots of people hear about the teachings of Jesus, but a lot of people, they go and they're like, okay, yeah, like, I hear you, but I kind of want to, like, do this other thing, and I'm kind of just, like, your thing is cool, like, it was nice for a little bit, but, nah, I'm good. So they're choosing to build or, like, it's almost like, when Jesus is teaching, Jesus is like, hey, you know what, I got some really good rock for you right here. If you build your house with rock that I'm providing you and you follow what I want you to do, you're going to have a strong foundation. And they're like, well, yeah, but this sand looks really cool, so we're going to go over to the sand. Thank you, though, but I'm going to build my house with sand. So they're building this foundation with sand, and that is, as we have seen, that is not going to go anywhere. That is just going to absolutely fall apart, and sand's going to get everywhere, and their house is not going to be built on a strong foundation. And their relationship with God is not going to be built on a strong foundation either. But then, let's say the people hear Jesus' teachings, and they're like, okay, you know what? That rock you're talking about and that firm foundation and being with you, that sounds really awesome, and I really want that. So they go and they build their house on a rock. And the cool thing thing is, I'm going to see if I can move the sand out of the way. Get out of here, sand. We don't want you. We're building our house with rock. So the cool thing is, this rock here, this rock represents Jesus. So it said Jesus the whole time, but it was hidden. So it says Jesus because Jesus is our rock. He is our solid foundation. He's not the sand that is just going to fall and go absolutely everywhere. He is our solid rock. He's reliable. He will always be there for us, and he will always keep our house strong and protected. So, there you go. All right. that is the concluding lesson for the day. So it might be, who knows, that might be your first parable you ever heard. But it's the first parable of the year that we've taught, so that's pretty cool. So, I'm trying to think of the order of what we're going to do. Okay. All right. We're going to do our poster piece next. And surprise, surprise, our poster piece is a house. Now, while I'm gluing this, think to yourself, why would it be a house out of all the things that it could be? Why would it be a house? Think in your brains while I'm gluing. And yes, it is a house because we were talking about the house being built on either sand or the rock. So there you go. So there we go. We have 2 balloons now. We have our do unto others with the gold, and then we have our house one with building the house on sand or with rock. So that's pretty awesome. We're going to go ahead and go over our Bible verse real quick. So, I think last week we did it with this poster, so this week we're going to do it with this poster over here, because they say the same thing, but we're gonna switch it up. Okay, so now faith, hope, and love remain. These 3 things, and the greatest of these is love. And that comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13. So there you go. So out of those 3 things, the greatest of them is most definitely love. So there you have it. We're going to go ahead and do crafts next. And this, I'm super excited about this one. I always say that for every craft though, so what am I saying? So with this one, it's going to work out better if you have a second person with you to do this with. So you're going to go ahead and, or just get a partner, whether it be sibling, parent, whoever. Go ahead and get them and cut out a bunch of random shapes. It's going to make sense when I show you the craft. So just cut out a bunch of random shapes. Try to do shapes with edges, so like no circles or no like squiggly lines. So try to do like triangles, diamonds, rhombuses, squares, rectangles. I think I already said that. But you guys get the gist. And then what you're going to do, so cut out about like 10 pieces or so. And then you do the same for that person. So then swap pieces. And then what you do is you get a piece of paper and then you go ahead and build a house with it. So, and you try to use all the pieces. So this piece just came with the craft. Like the pieces that I have just came with the craft. And let me see if I can scoot forward a little bit. There we go. So I went ahead and I went with marker. Went over with marker so it actually looked like a house. It's a weird looking house, but let me explain. So we have the door here, and then we have like the main part of the house with just the main part of the house, and then we have some windows here, and then up here you have like a second part of the house, and then you can go up here. There we go. Then you can climb up the stairs up here, and then you can go ahead and just have a little hangout area there, a little balcony. I imagine that there was a pool up there, so you can just be like swimming in a pool up on a balcony. Like that would be super cool. So you guys can create your own house. It could be like a mansion, it could be a little cottage, it could be whatever you guys want. But the challenge is to use every single one of the squares or shapes, just shapes in general, that that your partner cut you out. So there you go. And it's also cool if you do different colors, but you don't have to do that. So it's really neat. I had fun doing it. It definitely was a challenge. That rhombus there was a big challenge. So I was like, how the heck am I supposed to put that in a house? But there you go. I think I made it work. So that's a super fun one, and it's definitely a partner activity that you can do. So that is super exciting. So now we're going to go with the song of the week, and we actually have a song of the week that goes directly with the lesson, which is awesome. So I have our lyric sheet right here. It's very repetitive, so we're actually going to go ahead and sing it together this time, which is going to be super cool. And yeah, we're gonna just jump into it. Let me get some water real quick. Alright. So if you can, see if you can get like something to represent sand or something to represent rock. It's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and hold them up so you can just see what I'm doing. You could have like, or maybe like one hand could be a rock and one hand could be sand. Who knows? Just do what makes you happy. Alright. So we're going to be talking about the wise men, then the rains, and then the floods, and then the foolish man, and we're just gonna go for it. So, the wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock, and the rains came tumbling down. Use your hands for this part. So the rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up, but the house on the rock stood firm. Alright, now get out your sand. But the foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand, and the rains came tumbling down. And the rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up, and the house on the sand went splat. So there you go. That is the song of the week. A nice repetitive one. You guys have probably heard it before. It's come up many times. And also, last week, I don't know if you guys saw it during the adult service, but Elsa actually sang this song, which was so crazy. And actually, the whole Pastor Shoop did a sermon about this. It was like, oh, so close. We were like 1 week behind. But Elsa sung this song, and she did such an amazing job. So good job to her. That was absolutely beautiful. So definitely go check it out. All the past church live streams are listed there. So there you go. Alrighty, so I think that concludes. Oh no! Oh my gosh, the dice! I forgot about the dice. I meant to do that beforehand, but it's alright. So we're gonna go ahead. This is the verse dice. We're just gonna go ahead and give it a roll and see what we get. Alright, we got a red wisdom. So what that means is a red wisdom and a green wisdom. And if we get the green wisdom, then we get to talk about something good we can do with this new knowledge that we have learned, and a good thing that we can use with it. But the red is actually something that we probably shouldn't do with it. So in this case, we should not be the person that builds the house on sand, because that is not a firm foundation. So there you go. That one was nice and plain and simple. But there you go. So that would be a bad way for wisdom. But then a good way would be to build our house on the rock. So there we go. All right. So we're going to go ahead and close with the Lord's Prayer. And yeah, we'll wrap it up. All right, you guys know the drill. Shouldn't need house saving more, but just in case, you guys, I'll go ahead and say the first line, and then you guys repeat it, and then we'll go back and forth. It'll be really awkward for me because I can't hear you, unfortunately, but you'll be able to hear me. So if you say it right behind me, it'll be just like if we were in the classroom. So here we go. All right. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. And there you go. That concludes yet another classroom corner. I think next week is also a parable, I think. I'm pretty sure. But no matter the story, it is going to be a fun one, so I'm super excited for that, and I hope you will join us for next time. So be awesome. Do something to make you smile this week. Do something to make you laugh this week. I'm praying for you guys. I miss you guys, but you guys are amazing. I hope you guys are doing okay. So I love you, God loves you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And see you next week. Bye!